Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Do you have any home intruder stories? Be me. Lived in weird house when 18 or 19. Usually hear creaky noises. Home alone for a few days. Hear door slam shut upstairs. No cats, dogs, birds, etc. live in house. Grab an old 16-gauge single shotgun. Was very poor at the time. It was my only gun. Load shell. Walk upstairs. Ready to blast if need be. Turn on upstairs hall lighting. Check bedrooms. Nothing. Bathroom door closed, usually open. Open it. Nobody. Feel strange. Leave hall lighting on. Keep shotgun nearby. Carry pocket knife for rest of the evening. You cannot repel the intruders if they are not visible. That shit was intense. Would sometimes hear what sounded like walking by the front door late at night sometimes too. Would ask others if it was them. And they said no.
Be sound asleep on couch. Wake up for absolutely no reason at all. Think I'm getting hit with some sleep paralysis. Living room is just bright enough to make out the objects in it. Window crack just wide enough to hear the wind rolling over the onions bean fields. I lie there in perfect silence, completely motionless, staring at the ceiling. Catch movement out of the corner of my eye. Roll my head over to the side like a dead man's droop. Guy in an orange and black hunting jacket is fingering through the keys on the wall. Slowly reach my hand under the couch to grab my revolver. Slowly bring it level with the guy as the keys quietly jingle between his fingers. Start shooting. Guy smashes through the window after the first shot. Hear him fall off the deck into the wood pile. Hear him startle the horses. Didn't hit him a single time, but his jacket got caught on the wire fence to the horse pasture, and the dumbass brought his wallet with him during a breaking and entering. He served 4 years in prison. Still glad I didn't actually shoot him, because holy fuck, it was a hassle and a half just reporting what happened and fixing the window.
The A-Team. Lived with mom and little sis in an old house on the edge of town. Dad died a few years ago. Only pistol I own is an old ASM Colt Walker my dad bought me for my 15th birthday. I keep it loaded on my dresser. Mother hates guns and sold dad's collection to pay for his funeral, but is somehow okay with me keeping this antique. Hear glass shattering after midnight. Grab my walker. Grab mom and sis, tell them to call the cops and don't open the bedroom door for anybody. Go downstairs to investigate. Front windows are smashed in. House is dark. I hear voices in the kitchen. Oh shit, this is real. Fight the urge to run. Can't leave my mom and sister to get hurt or worse. Come around the corner and 2 white trash meth heads are tearing our kitchen apart. Shout for them to put their hands up and cock the walker. Meth heads turn around. I'm shaking with adrenaline and fear and my finger slips. Full load of powder goes off in a tiny kitchen. Fireball lights up the room. Sounds like the roar of God, then ee. Nail the toaster next to meth head 1. Recock while shouting to get on the ground. Junkie 2 pisses himself. No way they can hear me, but gunpoint is a universal language. Fucking junkies. I like the toaster. Cops arrive. Sergeant is the husband of my sister's dance instructor and his partner is my sister's godfather. Beat the shit out of the meth heads and call it resisting. Told me it was a shame I missed. Had to talk to some detectives, but it was cut and dry. No charges, and they never even took my walker. Moved east for school. Settled down in Virginia. Go home twice a year. Easter and Christmas. Have never bought a beer in my hometown again. Word got around quick and every cop and fireman in town knows me as the Gunslinger or Tex.
Little sister dating a based Mexican guy. I'm working from home, finishing up some reports. Hear it, fool you doing? Little sister screaming at somebody outside, something about a break-in. I hesitate. I have a Glock 29 in my desk, but I also have a Smith & Wesson 460. Realize if I lose the Smith & Wesson I'll be upset, so I take the G29. Suburban speeds off in reverse out of my neighborhood when I run outside about to mag dump the car. Apparently, my sister and her boyfriend came by my place and found some tweakers checking the front door of my house, and one was rummaging around in my Dodge Challenger. I had left the door unlocked because only minutes earlier I went to the car to get my gym bag out of it. To this day, we still see the tweaker suburban in my town and we fuck with them. They drive off and hide in random spots behind us stations etc. Pick related.
Not a home intruder story, but an intruder story nonetheless. Be me. Leaving work late, maybe 8 p.m. Pulling through an area a block away from Skid Row. Heroin zombie shambles up to my truck, starts asking for money. Nah man, I don't carry cash, sorry. He starts demanding, says he knows I have cash. Insist I have nothing, start rolling up my window. He sticks his arm in and pulls the lock. He tries to pull my door open, I slam it shut. Do not try that again. Draw my gun and press against the door. Lock wouldn't catch, I think the door hadn't closed all the way looking back. I see he's processing what I just said.
Bro, come on, just $2.
As he tries to pull my door open again. Immediately sees what's staring him in the face and sprints across the street, almost gets hit by a car. Light changes, cars in front of me go and I whip out of there. See on the spotter he got hit by a car and died maybe 3 weeks later. Life is strange.
Guy I know heard the sound of a break-in, picked a 4-iron out of his golf bag, crept downstairs just as a head was coming through a jammed window, braced feet and tried for a hole in one with a skull. Intruder drops like he's been poleaxed, draped half in the window. Guy calls police and says he's just stopped a burglar. The perp is still on site, but no, he's not an immediate threat. Police arrive. Inspect the still comatose would-be burglar and call an ambulance. After an unconscious Raffles wannabe is loaded into a blood wagon. The police ask Guy what happened. Guy explains he heard something, picked up golf club, crept downstairs, saw the burglar entering so hit him. Cop says,
So you hit him with the golf club that you'd left in the room after you'd been inspecting a loose grip?
No, I told you. I picked the club out of my bag upstairs. Cop looks at him and says again, slowly and deliberately,
So you picked up the club that was laying in the room?
No, officer. As I said, I picked.
So I think you're saying, sir, that you came down empty-handed, saw someone entering, and you picked up the golf club that was in the room and used it to defend your property, right, sir?
Penny drops. That's exactly right, officer.
I thought that's what you said, sir.
Base cop made sure there was no case for a premeditated attack on the intruder. Prospective burglar never talked correctly again.
Base cop, indeed. Speaking of cops, I was one briefly. Never wrote a traffic ticket, just gave warnings. Except DUIs, did arrest those. We'd take home cars, which was nice. We were encouraged to park them in a visible location at home as a crime deterrent for the area. Start having a rash of police cars burglarized. Guns, body armor and uniforms stolen. Start parking my cop car in the garage. It's winter, so this way I also don't have to clear snow off the cop car for work. Insomniac, but once I fall asleep I'm out. Normally it takes me a few moments to clear my head before I can get up. One night I woke up at 3 a.m. Instantly fully awake. Don't remember hearing anything, but something feels wrong. Grab my gun. Wake wife, tell her to grab her gun and stay put. I start clearing house. Everything is okay inside. Check the garage last. Turn off the alarm, unlock the door to the garage. Very cold winter wind blasts me. Garage shouldn't be windy. Police car doors and trunk are all wide open. I clear garage. Dirtbags gone, but found how they got in. They used pry bar and fulcrum to lift garage door a little. Wedged car jack in space once there was room. Used jack to lift the door a foot or so and hold it there so they could slide under the door. I live on a dead-end street. Go outside and clear around the house in case they were still in the area behind bushes or whatever. Only footprints and snow lead to car tracks in the street. Dirtbags didn't get a thing since I brought gear bags and weapons into the house at night. Didn't get to shoot dirtbag. Feels bad. JPG. Next day I buy new sensors and wire the garage into the house alarm. Eventually I was encouraged to resign since I refused to be a jackboot. No traffic tickets for minor shit. I'd only ticket if it was something reckless and likely to kill somebody else, like Dewey, or reckless driving with other cars around. If someone just had some pot for personal use, I'd just dump it and tell them to be smarter about it and smoke it at home. Long time ago.
Be me 10 years ago. Living with my sister who just turned 18 at the time. Wake up about 2 a.m. Half asleep but hear grunting noises coming from the living room. Grab my Mossberg 500. I wasn't 21 so couldn't own a gun. Enter the living room and see some old guy on the couch cooming. Hear my light female whispers under him. Immediately figure he's an old pervert assaulting my sister and level the shotgun on him, telling him to get his hands up. He jumps in the air but naked, screaming, "Don't shoot." Sister stands up and tells me to put the gun down. Turns out she brought him over, one of her friend's dad or something. Still tell him to get the fuck out. He complies without issue. Sis locks herself in her room crying. Old fuck was 63 years old, she still refuses to talk about him or how they know each other to this day. Turns out he impregnated her and died of a heart attack 2 weeks later. My niece is probably on the spectrum, but she likes my gun collection.
This is basically how my dad was conceived. My grandfather was born in the Basque Country in 1889, moved to the US when he got excommunicated for fornicating too much. Had a bunch of kids with different women. At the age of 70-something, got another one pregnant. My grandmother then died a few months later.
Night off. Grandfather took my vehicle out of town to visit family. Came from my computer room to kitchen to get a drink. Noticed some guy skulking around backyard. He comes up to my kitchen door and sets something on the ground. I hide in the dark part of my kitchen and watch him poorly attempt to lockpick my door. Guy does it for almost an hour, manages to unlock the bottom lock, realizes he still had to undo the deadbolt, and makes a frustrated sigh. Guy gives up and begins putting away his tools. Still hasn't noticed me. I sneak over to the door and lock it back. He hears the click, and looks up to me smiling like a maniac holding a kitchen knife. Say through the window, "Better luck next time," as I slink back into the shadows. Guy grabs his shit and runs as fast as he can away. Go back to watching Metabots and playing WoW.
Laying in bed with my wife and newborn. Both asleep. I'm on my phone. Video security notification pops up. Must be a possum on the back porch again. Person in a hooded sweatshirt is walking along the backside of my house. Adrenaline. Heart, thunk thunk thunk. Shake wife. Tell her to go to the bathroom with the baby. Someone is casing our house. My mind is frazzled. Tell her to call 911. Baby still asleep. Asks me what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait and see if they try to come in. Grab Mall Ninja 11.5 SBR. Intruder is messing with one of the back windows. Clear video now. He's skinny and probably white. The distance from our bedroom and the room he's trying to enter is like 2 feet away. Small house. He sliced the window screen and is trying to push the window open. Should be locked. I hope it's locked. I'm looking into the room from the hallway. I can see his silhouette casting onto the blinds. Neighbor behind us has a bright light and it's casting his shadow on the blinds. I can smell dust in the room. I can smell my shampoo I used that morning. My senses are really heightened. My gun feels like a feather. I have the drop of this guy. Am I really about to kill someone? Do I wait for him to get fully into the house? I'm pretty sure the window is shut. Can I shoot if he breaks it? He abruptly turns and makes some sort of verbalization to his left towards my fence gate. There's probably another person. Camera system doesn't go that far. He's walking away now towards the gate. I walk towards my front door because he would have to exit that way. Look out the window. 2 druggy-looking guys in their 20s start jogging down the sidewalk. Both hooded. Cops arrive. Ask me to send them the video. Lady who lived here before was bedridden and people would break into the house while she was awake and robbed her while she was in bed and helpless. Must not realize she's dead and the house was sold. Glad I didn't have to kill anyone. But was prepared to.
Alright Kay, I have a twist for this thread about the time I was the home intruder. Life sucks for an autistic spurg about to get out of high school back in 2010. Escape my problems with a laptop, get too good at doing this. Mom takes the laptop, it's gone for like an entire fucking year. An entire year an autistic spurg was rawly exposed to the world without any escapism. Eventually find the laptop and start sneak stealing it back. Get caught a few times, laptop gets sent to my uncle's house, which I find out on accident a few months later. Start planning the heist, cased my uncle's house out, looking for weaknesses. Easily opened windows, wide gap door stops, anywhere I could pen from. Have to look the part. Kid up like a fucking commando using shit I found around the house. Had to look cool. Sneak downstairs late at night. It's about an hour after mom has retired, so she's probably bored of reading and is asleep. Mom's a hairpin sleeper. Have to move so quietly I wouldn't wake a fly up. Manage to get out into the garage without setting the bell off. Hop on my bike. bike 4 miles under cover of darkness in pitch black looking like a special forces bank robber with kit cobbed out of the shoe closet. Full stealth mode. Mankind would not accept my mission on this night. They couldn't be made aware of it. Get to my uncle's. It's late. He's asleep. Easily Jimmy's side door open using an extra bootlace. Already knew where my target was. I moved to its location with quiet determination. Package seized. Time to exfil. Holy shit, it's my fucking laptop. I'm so happy to have it again. Get out without arousing the alarms. Quietly close the door and bike back again without being seen. Had laptop for like a week before I got caught with it again. Uncle wasn't even mad when my mom told him I broke into his house.
Didn't happen to me, but a friend. Me Texan. Me an intern for a news agency. Spots Hurricane Harvey before it was even named. Dips out of his area back home. Grabs his deer rifle and staged provisions. Leaves to grandparents' farm. Arrives, waits out the hurricane. Everything going good until a group of 4 looters arrive, parked behind a tree line. Figure they'll terrorize and loot the farmstead. My friend who was hidden in the barn spots them enter the property line. Using binoculars, he sees that they are in fact armed. They're walking straight to the home, one can only assume as to why. Using a radio, he talks to the other farmstead in the area, in which they say that they were spotted looting a destroyed barn several hours before. He gets a positive ID as the neighbor describes their attire perfectly. Grabbing his deer rifle, a simple Winchester .243, he takes a warning shot to get them to fuck off. They all hit the deck, diving into a dugout for a fence line that wasn't completed. The woman begins to panic. One male, athletic, fires back towards the barn using a handgun. He misses all the shots, but one round ricocheted upwards off the ground and struck the wall near my friend. My friend panics, ducks down, chambers around, squats back up and sends one straight through the chest of the handgun-wielding aggressor. The athletic-looking male immediately folds like a lawn chair and falls forward dead. The woman begins frantically screaming, and the 3 sprint 30 yards back towards the tree line and speed off in their staged car. Grandparents immediately radio asking what is going on. He manages to spit out what had just happened. They then express their relief knowing that he's okay. Several minutes passed, what seemingly felt like hours for him. He gets on his feet and goes down the steps to the flooded floor of the barn. He throws up against the wall, obviously shaken up over everything that had happened in the last 5 minutes. Trying to get his bearings, he continues out of the barn. The soil is saturated in water and is shin deep in water. He trudges toward the body of the man that he had killed. Being that everything is flooded, the mud is difficult to navigate through. He has to essentially snake around waist-deep pools of water to get to the body. The heavy wind and here horizontal rain makes things difficult, but he gets there eventually. The athletic male, probably of Hispanic origin, laid there face down, his body sprawled in the mud. With what I can imagine is a look of despair and remorse on my friend's face, he searches the pockets of the man. He finds his wallet and the handgun. He then goes back to shelter. The neighbors eventually took refuge with my friend in the barn the following day, as their home got completely flooded. For the next week, the body laid in the field. The family and neighbor contemplated what to do with the corpse, but ultimately just placed a tarp over him with stones to hold it in place. Approximately 11 days after the shooting took place, local sheriff arrived to take the corpse, retrieve the wallet and handgun that my friend took off his body. To this day, he doesn't know what his name was, as he never opened the wallet. He was never charged with anything, or was given a follow-up. 5 years later, and he still hasn't really moved on.
B14. Own one of those shitty fake rifles which shoot little yellow balls. I had a friend of mine and I could shoot each other in the garden. They're harmless but still can hurt from close range. We used to leave the door unlocked at night because here thieves only break in when they're 100% sure the house is empty. Wake up one night at 3 a.m. because I'm thirsty. Go in the hallway and see a flashlight in the living room. Panic, and instead of waking up my older brothers or my parents, I run back to my room and grab my fake rifle. Run back to the living room to find a low-life junkie going through the kitchen drawers, literally only checking pots, pan, forks, nothing valuable. Start shooting him with my fake rifle. He falls, yells, and runs out of the door. The noise wakes everyone up. Anyway, nothing was missing and I never saw the guy again. It felt like a fever dream.
Get used to talking to myself because I live alone with 2 cats. Say dumb shit constantly, really awkward jokes and non sequitur threats towards the cats. Wake up early one morning to creaking sounds of what I assume is a cat pushing shit around on the kitchen counter. Yell down the hallway. Somebody's going to be really upset when I hold them down and stab their asshole with a knitting needle. Hear my back door open and close and my chain link gate clatter shut.
Closest I got to an intruder story is more just spooky. B14. Wake up at 2 in the morning to piss. As I piss, I hear a growling noise. Normally our dog just growls a little and barks a lot, so this was unusual. Figure she sleeps snarling and check it out to make sure. I see my mom staring out the window of our front door. Dog is next to her growling with her fur sticking up on her back. Had this dog 8 years and never seen her like this. Ask mom what's wrong. She hesitantly asks, "Do you see this guy?" and points outside. I peek out the window, and across the street in front of the neighbor's driveway is some guy wearing all black with his hood up and holding some luggage bag. He's not moving or anything, just standing there staring down the street. This goes on for about 5 minutes. Dog still growling non-stop. Guy suddenly starts moving. He does a 180 turn without looking in our direction and starts walking down the sidewalk dragging his bag. When he gets out of sight, we quietly go outside. Peek around the corner and he's just walking down the middle of the street dragging his bag. Dog still growling until he is obscured by the darkness of a dead street lamp, then the dog goes ape shit barking. We head back inside and calm the dog down. No clue WTF that was about, but we both had a weird tingling sensation on the back of our necks. Never called the cops.
2013. Be me. 19 years old. Just got home from college for the summer. Live in suburbia. Worst thing that happens are car break-ins once or twice a year. Juvenile delinquent teenager lives 2 doors down from me, but I'm pretty sure he knows not to shit where he sleeps. Around 5 p.m. on a Saturday. Mom, Dad, older brother are all home. Mom and Dad are watching TV in the living room. Brother upstairs on computer. Dad just got back from a business trip. Garage is open because suburbia. Walk downstairs. Look through window and door that goes to garage. See Dad's truck is open. Juvenile delinquent kid and some other kid are rifling through his stuff. Know from the previous semester of breaking into rival frat and sorority houses as a pledge that I have almost no time to do anything if I want to catch them red-handed. Back in the day, my brother and I used to prank each other by closing garage door, locking the door that leads to the garage, and cutting the power with the circuit breaker. Dad's remote is on top of the fridge. Close the garage door and lock the back door. Hear one of the kids yell shit. Manages to bolt out of the truck and foil the garage door plan by tripping the sensor. I throw the door open and grab a hockey stick from the garage. Ask them what the fuck they are doing in my garage. Neighbor kid says,
We were just looking for my cat.
"Bullshit. Why would the cat be in my dad's truck? You were breaking into my dad's truck." Dad comes out.
What is going on here?
Tell Dad they were breaking into his truck. In a firm voice, he tells them to get the hell off our property before he calls the cops. Tell Dad he needed to make them at least empty their pockets.
No, Anon, that's ridiculous. I'm just going to call his parents.
Dad called his parents. They say he's had this problem before and that he's grounded for a month. Dad doesn't check if anything was stolen. Left wallet in truck. They took $300. Doesn't realize this until 2 days later. 2 months later. Kid's family goes on vacation. I have a key to their house because I used to pet sit all the time for the previous owner. Go into his house in the late morning on a Monday, when most people are at work. Bring a backpack. Go up to kid's room. Rifle through his stuff. Steal 2 bongs, 3 bowls, a vial with 12 ecstasy tablets, some acid paper, a TI 84 graphing calculator, and a lightly worn pair of Jordans. Also steal his mountain bike. Sell the bike, calculator, and bongs for $700 total. Give Jordans to a frat brother who wears that size. Resale value low because they were worn. Give acid paper and ecstasy to another frat brother. Kid's bike is reported missing but nothing else. Moral of the story: regular burgling generally yields more loot than hot prowls. Unless you're trying to murder the victim. Unoccupied houses are better targets.
Not really related, I guess, since I'm from Denmark and our weapon rights are non-existent, so no guns in story, but either way. Older sister has boyfriend. Nice guy apart from being a polar schizo, the literal kind, not the proverbial. Sister breaks up. Don't know why, never asked, not my business. Ex-BF gets the blues and decides the antipsychotics aren't good for him. Breaks into sister's place the following week. Sister wasn't home thankfully. Steals her laptop, convinced it contained pictures of other guys. Sister shaken up pretty badly. Cries a lot, scared and feels unsafe in her apartment after the episode. Dunno what to do, I'm not good at comforting people. Tell her she can stay in my apartment for as long as she likes. It's a nice apartment complex with electronic locks, no entry without chip and pin. I'm the only resident, the other floors are offices or shops. Few days later at 3 a.m. Doorbell buzzing like crazy. Check door cam. Shizo X outside banging the street-level lobby doors and mashing every single door buzzer for every floor, probably hoping some random person will open without checking who he is? I step out onto balcony in underwear and tell him to fuck off. Middle of winter cold. He shouts crazy shit. I dunno what he was drunk and I didn't really care to listen. Get frustrated cause my nutsack is collapsing into a singularity in this cold. I don't wanna argue with a schizo in this cold. Glance at balcony. Spot my cigarette butt bucket. Solid mass of ice by now containing butts accumulated over 3 months. Turn bucket upside down, I'm not wasting a good bucket, buttsicle falls out. Casually lob buttsicle lob it over the balcony railing. Only intended as a fuck off message, not trying to hit him. Turns out my aim is ironically so shitty it ends up hitting him. Bonk. Guy is flat on the sidewalk. Butts and dirty ice all over. He's moving so I decide he probably just got grazed. Tell him to back off again and go back inside.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.